Hey everybody, I'm actually very annoyed because I just did this for 7 minutes and I just started stuttering, so I'm starting all over again. I am right now in chapter 5. I'm talking about the times for which Jesus was born into. I think that the times that Jesus was born into help explain partially why Jesus and the Jesus movement, thus the birth of Christianity, occurred. I also think that this, much like my Huns lecture, show the weakness of the original founding states of civilization. The Han, the Gupta, the Greeks, and the Romans, they all brought something to the table, and we should applaud that. But they were not constitutional democracies in the way that we have today, providing for the people, being able to get through depressions and recessions, being able to easily hand over power to another elected. And that's why all the great classical civilizations end. And the Hun show that, and actually, Roman rule of Judea shows that. So now let's get to my slideshow. Oh, that's not fun. Backtrack, backtrack, backtrack. All right, Roman Judea shown here. Okay, we see the Sea of Galilee, we see Nazareth, we see Jerusalem, Bethlehem. Let's move on. Now, modern Palestine and Israel, over time of Roman rise, we're given considerable independence. Kind of like, hey, just work with us, trade with us, be friendly with us. We're not going to come and conquer you and control you. Well, you know how that works out. So this region will actually be conquered in 63 BCE. Do understand, when you are conquered, you may still have a king of Judea from the line of Herod, but you will be ruled by a Rome appointed governor. That's why you should know the names Herod Antipas and Pontius Pilate. King Herod Antipas is from the line of Herod. His father was around when Jesus was born, and the line of Herod needed to protect and create a stable Judea in order to make things not get worse. And of course, Pontius Pilate, his whole purpose was to create stability. And if he sees any sign of political or economic problems, he needs to lay the smack down. Do you like how I'm just completely not knowing what word I wanted to say? Now, this time is also the time of Pax Romana. So Rome is strong economically and politically. It's building roads everywhere, which in a way is another reason why we see the rise of Christianity, the demise of the Catholics, demise of the Romans, is they built too many roads and allowing people like Paul to spread his word easily and write letters and transmit those letters. But that's for a different day. So here we are. We got the people of Judea, largely Jewish contingency, seeing themselves being controlled by others. Just like at one time we have the Jews being held in Babylon. We have the Jews being held in Egypt. These are all part of the Old Testament. Well, so of course, various members of the Jewish faith start looking into some Old Testament writings about a Messiah that is going to come and free them. And this Messiah will be through the line of David. There you go. So in front of you, you see the term Jewish factions. I'm going to talk about 4 factions. All 4 factions show why there was already issues before Jesus was even born. That picture is a structure that we call the temple. Its likeness existed 2,000 years ago. The purpose of the temple was to serve the dissemination of what was Jewish teachings. Judaism wasn't a synagogue-based faith. It was the temple-based faith. So you did not have a local rabbi spreading an interpretation in a synagogue. It would have been the opposite of that. If you were looking for an understanding of the faith, you went to the temple. And of course, this is such a localized faith. Judaism was a localized faith. You can get away with that. Now, who ran the temple is largely two groups. One, the Pharisees. Now, the Pharisees, I'm not condemning them. Please do understand them. They are the principal fathers of modern Judaism. Through them, we have the Mishnah, the Talmud, the Torah. Um, they're the ones who helped pass on oral traditions, write down oral traditions, write down the laws that are Judaism, the traditions that are Judaism. But also understand they relied on stability. If the temple was threatened, their power and their religion will be threatened. And they don't want that. They know that things can get worse, especially with Roman soldiers in the neighborhood. Another group, the Sadducees, they are also powerful within the temple. Religious elitists, they did have their own interpretations, but they also embraced the Hellenistic values, the philosophical and economic values that is Hellenism. But they had a very large role in the temple, and they knew that with the temple's demise, they and their Pharisees would be weakened, and the church would be weakened as a whole. Now, outside of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, you see the rising of people who are a little frustrated and angry. For example, the Zealots. The Zealots, I would say, are the Pharisees with swords, the angry Pharisees, the Pharisees who are, okay, this is our neighborhood, this is our faith, we need the Romes out of here. We need to rise up against them with, if necessary, a sword in hand and deliver Israel. Some people are going to say, especially people like Pontius Pilate, that Jesus was a zealot, that what he was trying to do was cause an insurrection, a rising up of the people of Judea against the Roman rule. Now, I don't know, or nor do I think Jesus considered him a zealot, but there were zealots that were in his disciples. There was zealots who would follow Jesus. Thus, it's kind of like the people you roll with are the people you're like. So Pontius Pilate would want to capture and crucify, not because of blasphemy, but because of the possibility of insurrection. Now, my last one are the Essenes. The Essenes, I don't definitely want to paint them as the pacifists, but I think they, like the Zealots, did not like Roman rule. But what they did also not like are the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They didn't like the structure that was the Jewish church. They weren't fans of the temple. They wanted to deliver the people of Judea from the hands of Roman rule. But they also looked to more of a puritanical, faith-based existence. Very communal. John the Baptist is, in my opinion, the most famous of the Essenes. And yes, John the Baptist was killed for those beliefs by Herod Antipas. So when you have these four factions, not all competing with each other, but just these four factions existing in Judea, and you have Roman rule, it's not surprising that a person through the line of David that is born might catch the eye of others. I don't know how much I want to get into this about the life of Jesus. I might save that for class or your prior knowledge. Now, eventually you will see all of this after the life of Jesus really hits ahead. Rome lays waste to the temple, crushes the Jews, crushes what will eventually be the Jewish/Christians that are emerging. Jews will then be forced to flee around the world, many of them that flee using those same Roman roads because of Pax Romana will find some new faith, that faith being Christianity. So there it is in a nutshell, less than 10 minutes long. Do expect a question on your upcoming test from this. Take it easy, wubba wubba.